Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about some of the projects that I've seen online. I don't know if it has any value, but if any people perhaps have there interested in the new opportunities up there, if anything, that would be food for thought, if anything, in some of the projects up there, and what is supply and demand, right? So if there is a demand for some of those projects, perhaps you can offer supply. I guess that's how we can understand this project. I don't know. I don't know. I prefer sticking to some of the things that I do understand very well. But either way, since I don't understand it, perhaps other people might be able to explain it to me a little bit better. I'm going to be looking at digital twins and what this concept is. If anything, myself, I'm more interested in physical, right? So anything what's digital, I'm not entirely sure if you cannot touch it, feel it. I don't know if you cannot hold it. Can you put any value on those kind of things? But some people might be interested in buying, purchasing, investing, whatever the case might be. So I would cover it, but if anything, disclaimer, I'm not supporting any of those projects. Perhaps I have covered some of those that has a real world solutions value. I can understand what problems those projects are looking to solve. I'm not entirely sure about this project. A digital twin is virtual representation of a physical object. So there's a kid, right? He can draw, I don't know, something on a paper, and he would say it's a car, I guess. For as long as there's another person who is willing to pay a lot of money for that, I guess there's a supply and demand. But again, I don't know what kind of problem we're looking to solve here. But either way, that's my bias, I guess, of a physical object, system or process. So representation of physical object, system or process. So if there's a system or a process, there might be more value to that in terms of information representation. So there might be some value there, but again, it depends. It depends. Other than that, I can. Also, we're talking about education material, perhaps. It's a concept that has gained prominence in various industries, including manufacturing, healthcare, urban planning, and more. The idea behind digital twin is to create detailed and dynamic digital replica of real-world counterpart in monitor, analyze, and predict its behavior. Some ideas are up there, right? Some of the just some. Let's cover all of those, and let's be more open-minded. Yeah, let's be more open-minded, I guess. Types of digital twins. Product digital twin. This represents physical products such as car, airplane, or industrial machine. It allows for monitoring the process performance and can be used in design or simulating processes. Perhaps that will be like a show to demonstrate instead of in person, perhaps visually online, you might be able to have access to. Perhaps there's some value there. With some of those shows up there, traveling to that show, as well as putting your machinery up there and promoting, perhaps there's some value there. Again, again, there's not for everyone, right? Perhaps there's some good revolutionary ideas about pictures, right? So I remember in school, it's a quick story, right? Just because I'm not giving enough credit to the person who came up with this, right? In school, there was a lot of young women, ladies, that used to collect a lot of pictures of the famous people up there. They used to, that was way back when I was in school, right? So they used to collect a lot of pictures. They have spent a lot of time doing it, and they used to change those pictures. It could be from anywhere, those pictures can be from anywhere. So at the time, that group of people have placed a lot of value on that, right? Just over years, that could be understandable how readily available had became with the different projects like Instagram, right, or similar projects out there, because it was so easy to access that potentially didn't gain that much traction anymore, and it was replaced with different projects. But perhaps there's some traction there, so just to give more credit to the person who came up with this idea. It's just me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand it yet. Process digital twin. This model a real world process like manufacturing line, supply chain, or healthcare workflow. It enables process optimization, simulation, and monitoring. Perhaps system digital twin. This is an integration of products and processes digital twin to simulate and optimize complex systems such as smart cities or energy grids. Perhaps there's a lot of value in that. Perhaps, yeah, or perhaps it's always been there, and this person would say, "Oh, this is what that is. This is the concept, right?" Perhaps that's just simulation, right? But okay. Either way. So this whoever came up with this concept, there's a lot of value, perhaps that can offer to a lot of people. If anything, bring them up to speed how things operate and function. Something perhaps what I'm trying to accomplish when offering education material ignorance with this channel, right? Applications, manufacturing. Digital twins are used to optimize manufacturing processes, monitoring equipment health, and predict maintenance needs. You can have regular check-ins to do those, but either way, healthcare. In healthcare, digital twins, digital patients can have be create and monitor their health, simulate treatments, and assist in medical research. So there are a lot of use cases. I'm not entirely sure how that has to do with actually going and checking on the patient. If it's something that they would need to wear on their wrist to check their pulse, and that could be outsourced to software as well. And they're looking for ways of outsourcing that, perhaps to monitor and prevent any diseases or whatever case might be, cholesterol levels, whatever that may be, with eating habits and perhaps heart or whatever failures, whatever, looking to prevent those problems that potentially can save a lot of taxpayers' money. So, if anything, it's good to think that someone's doing something about it. Smart cities is something that I have recently covered in more detail. Smart cities digital twin helps city planners and administration model, manage urban infrastructure, transportation systems, and public services. I can imagine the projection of a city, and they need to plan it out in a better way, and making any changes to that projection of how a city can potentially look, and if this infrastructure can look, making any changes instead of actually doing it. What it would be like projecting of any small change and how that change can affect something that's currently been doing with places like Tokyo, and what how we're looking to improve infrastructure as well as optimize current way, and there isn't that much space, and the space that they do have available is very expensive, so perhaps they could use that, and places like Tokyo is something that perhaps they are doing already. Aerospace and automation. Digital twins of aircraft vehicles and their components are used for design, maintenance, and simulation. If anything, places like resistance, air resistance, and flow, some of those areas, but something that they're doing already. Perhaps it's not nothing new. Perhaps it's new for me, and I have seen a lot of opportunities up there and finance in this area. But it's always been, perhaps it was defined in different concept, but it's always been there. Energy and utilities. They are employed to optimize energy grids, manage resources, and improve efficiency. There's some of those areas. IoTs, in other words, would be Internet of Things. That's because a lot of gadgets would need to be able to communicate with each other, ideally perhaps using Internet. That means IoTs and sensors integration. Digital twins often rely on real-time data from sensors and Internet of Things devices to update reflect the current state of their physical counterparts. This real-time data is crucial for accurate monitoring and analyze. Perhaps so that would be one way to reflect on what would be a good way to put into perspective. Perhaps to have digital presence, not necessarily yourself as a person who you would have it, and not necessarily owning anything, right? Like physical objects, but you would have a perception of owning something on a digital world where people might be interested in investing in avatars, skins, so all the new trends popping up. But I'm not entirely agree with all of those, but there's a lot of supply and demand up there. Analytics and simulations. By using data analytics and simulation tools, digital twins can provide insights, predictions, and recommendations. For example, a digital twin of the turbine can predict when the need of maintenance-based performance data can predict, but perhaps regular maintenance is something that is currently being done. I don't know to what extent, but I think the way how things have been done, I don't know, I'm too old for it. I don't know, I don't know. Perhaps, perhaps there's a use case of that as well. Remote monitoring and control. Digital twins allowed remote monitoring and control of physical assets and systems, which is practically useful in situations where physical assets is limited to or dangerous. So perhaps now I see it. Now I see what they're doing here. Perhaps, right, right. Perhaps more people need to stop driving whatever they're doing and get into coding and programming. Relocating a lot of workforce currently, or where they're busy doing manual work, into coding and building some of those systems, I guess. And way how we operating right now is changing, where it would be less required perhaps. So people who are doing some of that, even administration work, would need to do the other tasks. Perhaps there's a new trends of that. Iterative improvements. Digital twins enable iterative design and improvements. Engineers can test changes virtually before implementing them in the physical world, reducing costs and risks. So there's a lot of value there. Challenges, but again, price. So they say, oh, this is great technology, but price of this technology can be very, very expensive. So entry level, right? So what would be cheaper, right? But most of the time they would say, especially for top companies up there, they would say, "Oh, we have access to such a great technology," which is great, can be very beneficial for a lot of people, right? But what is cost of entering into having access to some of those technology? If the entry level is none or very minimal, perhaps I could see some use cases. Other than that, usually it's very costly, especially in the beginning, and not necessarily the software itself would function very well. Hopefully, down the line, perhaps 5, 10 years, with faster, if more people, more interest might be in this space, perhaps a lot faster. But either way, usually it's very expensive, especially in the beginning. Challenges: creating and maintaining accurate digital twin can be complex and costly. It requires integration with various data sources, high fidelity modeling, and computational resources. Access to a lot of CPUs, right? Either way. Security and privacy concerns are also important than dealing with sensitive real world data. If anything, take away, perhaps take notice of how your data can potentially be used. And if anything, I like to bring more attention to people out there who sharing the currently they're sharing your who is sharing your data with what, for what purpose, how that data can be used, and perhaps some of those projects out there, what are market opportunities out there for business owners who can purchase that data and use that data. For people out there who are interested in learning more, I have published this tool, a journal, which is built so you would need to work from cover to cover to develop a habit. So that's the idea behind it, to publish it and to make it in that way where you could focus on 24-hour window and optimizing your time 24 hours. So I have put a lot of thought into it. So if you want to purchase it, work your way from cover to cover, so that will give you enough time to develop a habit. From there, you need to focus on 24 hours and what are you doing within 24 hours, and some of the tasks that you're looking to accomplish with those 24 hours. Some of those areas, which I personally believe are very important, that will be motivation, perhaps. You need motivation quote, values, perhaps dictionary, understanding finance, and particularly cash flow, and all the other areas. You can find it this journal in the description below, as well as Top Retailers has it. Digital twins have potential to revolutionize various industries by improving efficiency, reducing downtime of some of the machines, for especially down for maintenance, and enabling better decision making through data-driven insights. Collecting data in the first place, right? So it's something to take away. So once you collect a lot of data, that data can potentially be used by different machines. If that data is labeled, not labeled, if it's a lake of data. It's something that we have learned recently. So if the data is not labeled, and then you can use that data to optimize some of those machines, how many data points, but again, how many companies are doing it. Once that are doing it, perhaps we're talking about large corporations, right? But either way, if anything, that will be some insights for people out there, as well as technology advances. We can expect digital twins to become more sophisticated and commonplace in a wide range of applications. Perhaps it's more about going digital, as well as some of the projects out there who might want to gain more traction, popularity for people out there, but I don't know. Again, I gave a lot of disclaimers in the video already. That just some of those new projects out there. Perhaps some of the projects are finishing and new projects are starting. Uh, Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.